Hello dears, we will start our the live lesson as soon as possible soon. So good afternoon to everyone. Today the live lesson is on the sweep functions, the group of the sweep functions. So we will learn the deep how to create sweep along the guide and tube functions in NX CAD environment. So this is our NX interface. So we will for the beginning open the new file as usual. So go here the file, or you can find here the new file. Open the new, and we will work in the model environment. Here you can define the name of your file and folder to be saved. And the important thing is here that you have to define it is the measurement unit. So I will define it in a millimeter. So let's press OK. So this is our NX environment. So we have the in the middle the coordinate system. So and to define the sweep function, the sweep group, we have the several options to go to the sweep function. The first most used option is here from the menu. Select the menu, and here select the insert, and here you can see the sweep groups. In the inside of the sweep group we have the several functions like the sweep, the style sweep, the section variational sweep, the sweep along the guide tube, and sweep volume. Today we will mostly the focus for the sweep along the guide and create the tube, these two functions in our live lecture. So here we can define these two options here, so menu, insert, and sweep. Also you can define these two functions from here in the menu. Here is the surface, and you can define here the more. Open the more, and you can define here the sweep groups. Inside of sweep group we have here the sweep along the guide and the tube functions, as well as here you can define that this one is in the home tab, and open here the more, and you can define here this sweep along the guide and the tube as well. So there is several options to define this function, and according your preference you can define any of them. So let's start our the first practice. That is we will use the swept along the guide. The swept along the guide, the function is used to create the sweep volume along the single guide and along the single cross section. So in this case we have to create the cross sections and the guide course for this using the swept along the guide. So in order to do this, here you have select a sketch, and you can define the plane to create your guide course. So I will select, for example, this Y and Z plane and press OK, and you can create your the guide course. For example, I will select draw the arc, for example, the starting this point and like this, and let's make it line here also. And the important things that they should be the tangent. So go to the geometric constraint, and using the tangent constraint make it tangent like this. So press OK. So and let's finish the sketch. So this is our guide curve. So we can call it as a string curve and so on. So along this guide curve I would like to create the sweep along the guide functions. In order to do this, The second curve I will draw is a section curve. So in order to do this, I will select again the sketch here, and you can sketch the curve on this plane, or you can create the plane here. I will draw the section curve on this plane. Select this plane and press OK. And for the beginning, I would like to draw the circle as a section curve. So select the circle and define it is the center point here, and draw the circle, and you can define it is the dimension. For example, go to the rapid dimension and define the dimension. For example, let's make it the 20 millimeters of the diameter, and finish the sketch and go to the geometric view. So this is the curve, which is the guide curve and the section curve, and I would like to create the sweep volume along this guide curve. So I will go here the menu, the insert, and insert, select from here the sweep, and the sweep along the guides. So here the dialog box of sweep along the guide is created. Here we have the several options. Let's check here. It should be this one, advanced one, and the first one you have to select here the section. The section is in this case is the circle. So I will select here the section. So you see it is selected one, and the guide, as a guide we will select here the curve. So if I select the guide curve, so you see the swept volume is created. So the cross section is swept along this guide. So this is our section. So in addition, we have several options to see here. For example, you can define the offset value, the first offset, second value of the offset, and also we have here the boolean. So we will see there are the step by step this all the sections. For example, the settings, and also the preview is just you can here tick off this preview, or you can show the preview and so on. By the tick off this preview, you can press this icon as a show result to see your result. So you can, for example, automatically make the preview like this. So this is the section and guide curve is selected. Now let's see the other rollouts, like in the swept along the guide. Here we have the offset. So you can define the offset for this one. For example, let's define the offset is the first offset is a 1, and just press enter, and you see let's see the result, and you see it will become the offset with the 1 millimeter, and it will become like a tube. So just return this one, and here go here the one, and we see here this arrow, and you can drag your by mouse this arrow to increase or decrease this offset value. In this case it's 1.5, so like this. Or you can define the second offset, but they should be in the negative direction like this. So it is in the minus 1.7. So we can define the offset values by the two direction, the first offset and second offset like this, and it will become like a tube element. We can make it 0, and be careful, this offset shouldn't be the same value, and the one is should be the negative, and one is should be the positive value, in order to create the exact offset value like a tube in this case. So this is how to create the offset using this one, and let's make it 0. When we make it 0, the volume becomes the solid element. So there is no any inside the hole, so it will be the solid, because the offset value is in this case is 0 and 0. Now let's skip this boolean, and we will see in the deep what is the boolean here. But let's see here in the settings. In the settings, you see the by default body type is the solid, so it means that the system is the solid element. And here if you can open this one, you will see here that there are two options, like solid and sheet. If you convert this body type as a sheet metal and press this the result, and my element becomes that a sheet element like this, so with the swing wall element, so it will become sheet. And let's undo this result, and you can convert this to the solid again to see the result. So this is the how to create the sweep along the guide. In this case, the most important thing is that we have the single section curve and the single the guide curve is used. You can press OK to see your result. So this is the first option with the closed cross section. The cross section in our case is a circle. You can use the several cross sections, like the closed cross section or the open cross sections for the creating the sweep along the guide. Here in the part navigator, you see there is the option is here the sweep along the guide is created. We can right click here, and we can delete it for now. So we deleted the solid elements. Also we can here delete the circle to see the sweep along the guide with the other options, and right click here and delete. So yeah, so we will just keep here the single guide curve, and now we can draw the other cross section and go to the sketch, and we can let's create another plane, for example. Let's make more complex elements. So here, go to the datum plane, create a datum plane here, for example, point on direction and press OK. So we created the new datum plane, and go to the sketch again and select this plane and press OK. Here we can create, for example, in this case, a cross section as a rectangle. Let's use the rectangle from the center and select this point and create the rectangle, for example, just this one. And you can define its dimension. For example, go here and double click for this one, and let's change it as to the 18 and make it 34. So we define the dimension of our rectangle and finish the sketch. Go to the isometric view. So here the system is ready, and we can use the sweep along the guide. So we can select it here directly. So go here, the sweep along the guide as a section. As usual, we will select the rectangle, and be sure it in the filter it should be the invert the curves. It means that it directly select the whole rectangle while the clicking the rectangle. So the section is selected. As a guide curve, we can select here this guide curve. So you see, in this case we can also create the same sweep volume using the cross section. In this case is the rectangle. The same way here we have the same the rollouts, like the offsets, the booleans, the settings, and preview. So we can put here for example, the first offset as a 1, so it will become the system. We can show as a result here. So you see the offset value is the 1. Just undo this one, and here you see when we go to the first offset, this will become the blue, and we can drag this icon, this hole. So you can see here the value is changing. The second offset, we can put here the negative value. It will be in the negative direction. For example, let's make it -1, and you see it will become in the negative direction in the increasing value. So you can see the result, show the result. So you see this blue represents as the actual sketch. It's a rectangle which we draw with the side is 17 and 34. but when we put the offset, so the offset value towards to the center is here the 1.7, and the against the center is the -1 millimeter, so it is in this direction. So we will get the system. In this case, you can create your own sketch like this, putting the offsets. So let's convert the offset to the 0 to 0 in order to make it the solid element. So the preview result, so the initial values, we say in this case the sweep along the guide is the actual with this rectangle. The same way in the body type we will see the boolean separately, so with the several examples as well. In the same way, in the setting we can two options, so sheet metal or the solid. By default it is always a solid, and by yourself you can define as a sheet metal or the sweep volume, and go to the sheet and show the result. So in this case we will get such a system with the open inside open element with the scene wallet, the surface element. So this is how to create such a system. So let's undo this one, and let's press OK. So this is the result. Here this one is already created. We can again the deleted one. So and here what I want to do is to change this cross section again. Here I will select here from the part navigator this sketch 3, and I will delete it. So and I will okay, let's press the Ctrl Z to return my cross section. I want to change this cross section a little bit. I want to edit this cross section. In order to do this, I will double click my rectangle, and we can put here the edit like the fillet. So let's go to the fillet function, and I'll make the fillet on the corners of the rectangle. So let's make it 1 millimeter diameter on the all the sides here. Fillet. Just I want to show some more the complex examples with the sweep. So we created the fillets and finish the sketch, and go to the isometric view. So this is the inputs for the sweep function, and go here the more, and open again the sweep along the guide function as usual. So we will select here the section here as a first, as a select the core. Here the section is this system. So here is selected. So be careful, here should be the infrared. So in order to be the efficient, so by the one clicking you will select the whole system. As a guide core we have this guide core we selected here. So in this case you see the system becomes like this. So we can make it show the result. So you see the swipe is obtained by doing like this. And let's undo this one, and the same way you can put the offset value here, the positive offset value, for example like this, and you see the result of this one by the show the result. So you will obtain such a system. So undo this one, and you can put here the negative offset value. Let's make it -2, and it will be in this side. So if you go to the show the result, so this is our real system will be, and this blue is the actual sketch, and with the offset value we obtain it here this element with the offset with the +1 millimeter is the toward to the center, and the -2 millimeter from this side to the against to the center. So this is how to obtain such a system with the hollow elements. So you can show the result, and you can see here the system. Let's undo this one, and again let's make it the offsets 0 and 0. So it will become the solid element again. So let's undo the result again. So here in the setting we can again convert the solid element to the sheet one, so like this. So it will become the sheet element with the surface, so you can create such a system. So undo this one, let's make solid and just press OK. So this is the how to obtain this kind of element with such a cross section. In this case you can create several such systems with several cross section. Let's delete this one. For example, instead of this kind of the fillets, you can make that a chamfer for the corners and so on. And this one just examples how to create the sweep along the guide with the closed cross section. So let's say some examples with the open the cross section. So let's delete this rectangle and again go here the sketch, and we can use this plane which we created and just press OK. And in this case let's define the cross section, which is open the cross section. Let's select here the profile, and I would like to create the open cross section, for example not the closed one, just such a single. And be careful, it should be here the horizontal and it should be the vertical, like such a system. Open cross section, not closed one, and finish the sketch and go to the isometric. So I created such a here open cross section, and I want to sweep this cross section, which is here the highlighted with the red, along this this guide curve. So using the sweep along the guide. So go here the more, and again select here the sweep along the guide. So in this case that's a section I will create. I will select this curve, so it is selected here, you see, and as a guide curve select here this one. So in this case you see you can obtain such a system. So the system is the swept along this guide is the open system. In this case it will be directly the sheet metal that will be surface element, since the cross section here is not closed, it was the open. The same way you can put here the offset values to create the offset for this one. Let's make a on as usual. In this case it will become such a system. So let's see here, you see it will become the offset value with the so there is some disconnection, sorry. So here you see it is obtained with the open the cross section that swept along the guide. So let's delete this one, and now let's see some examples of the sweep with the boolean, how the boolean the logic works with the sweep along the guide. Now I will delete this one. So I will create the sketch. In this case the closed cross section, for example let's create the circle again here, and finish the sketch. So here I will make the sweep of this circle along this circle along this curve. So I will go here the more, and select here the sweep along the guide. So as a section I will select the circle here, and as a guide curve I will select my system. So it is what we obtained before. Now we will see how the boolean works in the sweep function. If you open the boolean, there is what we have seen in the boolean, there is the unite, the subtract, and intersect options. So using these three options we can create several features. For example for the begin, let's press the OK to see the result. Now in order to use the boolean, I would like to create one more the sketch. For example, I will go here the sketch and select this face and press OK, and I will draw again the circle with a smaller diameter. Let's draw the smaller diameter and finish sketch. Now I will go again here the more and select sweep along the guide, and as a section I will select this circle, which is the drawn, is the smaller circle. So as a guide curve, I will select here this guide curve, which is the drawn. In order to see this, I will go here this option and make it is the static wireframe. So in this case, you can see it is the guide curve, and as a guide curve I will select this one. So you see this circle is the swept now as a solid element, but using the boolean we can make it subtract, so we will get as a whole element. So let's go here and go here the standard view, and you see it is the boolean is a subtract, and I select the body. I would like to subtract this small volume of the circle with this larger one. It's automatically selected by the system, and in order to see the result, press this one, show the result. So in this case, you see how is the boolean is obtained. So you see we will obtain such a whole system inside of this sweep volume. So you can undo this one. So here the boolean is the subtract. In this case, we subtracted this small circle of volume along this guide from this element. We can make here the other, so we can make its intersection. For example, if you press the intersection and make the preview, in this case you see it will be like this. So it means that it will obtain the intersection between these two elements. So it will be that I will delete this one, and see here, let's delete, I will delete all this one, also this datum plane, and this guide course also, it is no more needed for me. And let's see another example with boolean, how to obtain a boolean and the sweep. In order to do this, I will for example draw the rectangle, for example on this plane, any rectangle. So let's select the rectangle and select the rectangle from the center, and you can put the dimension for the rectangle, but I will skip putting the dimension, so because it's just explanation. And I will directly extrude this rectangle with for example, we can increase this value to the 35 in this case. So press OK. So this is just as a rectangle. Now it is simple. Now I would like to create the guide curve on the top surface of this rectangle. I will select the sketch and press this plane and press OK, and I will select here the profile, or you can go here this line, for example, and I would like to create the line like this, and the line here like this. It should be exactly the horizontal. So you can put the geometric constraint to put it to the horizontal. So go to the geometric constraint, horizontal, and select this one. So it is already exist constraint. So here we can put here the fillet between these lines with any radius. So this is the guide curve. So I will finish the sketch. Now I would like to create the section curve for the sweep volume. So in order to do this, I will select the sketch again. Here I will select this plane and press OK. In this plane, I will just little bit move the mouse, and I will select here the rectangle, and let's draw the rectangle. For example, you can zoom it here and select the rectangle, finish the sketch. So in this case I would like to sweep this rectangle along this guide, but I would like to create the subtraction, so it will be like the obtained like the pass, like the pass. So in this case I will make the more and sweep along the guide, and here I will select as a section my rectangle, and here I will select as a guide curve this one. So you see it is a swept here, so it is the swept. And in the boolean, if I select here the let's for the beginning, let's keep it known, and just feed the preview, you will obtain such a system. But if you want to create such a pass, that whole pass, in this case you will select here the in the boolean there's a subtract, and you will obtain such a system. So you can obtain such a systems with the boolean in the case of the sweep along the guide. So this one is obtained. So this is our result, and you can use any cross section. For example, instead of the rectangle, we can make it, for example, the elite one, and sketch again. For example, we can make it as a cross section as a circle, for example, exactly here, any circle, and finish the sketch. And here go to the more function and select the sweep along the guide as a section. In this case, so you have selected here your the circle as a guide curve, this one, and you see the result will be like this. But if you go here the boolean and make it subtract, so you will obtain such a system. In this case, you see the subtraction is done using this cross section is the circle, so you can obtain such a system as well. So this is the result. So this is how is the sweep along the guide works in the case of the boolean. So I will remind one more time all the rollouts inside of the sweep along the guide. So here, because it's important in the section, in general, when you will use the sweep along the guide, it's important. So you will use the sweep along the guide when you are creating some complex shapes like the tubes, the hollow elements, such a complex, for example, the bottles, or some complex shapes and so on. In this case, there is some limitation in the sweep along the guide. The one is the limitation is that always you have to only the single cross section and the single guide core, or it means that you can sweep the volume only using the single volume, single section and single guide core. So when you have some complex shapes, it is not possible to use this function. So it is the mostly used for the creating tubes, which is the single cross section and the single guide core. So also you can use here the offset function to create the offset values on the volume of the sweep volume. Also we have you have seen here the boolean with the unite, subtract, and intersection. So and you can define as well as the body type. You can make it the solid element, or you can make the sheet element. So here I will cancel it. So this was just a brief overview of this function, and let's delete these ones, all our systems. So and here what I want to do again here, the little make more complex the system with the sweep along the guide. In this case I will sketch again for the beginning the guide curve, for example on this plane. So go here the profile, and let's sketch the vertical line like this, and here the horizontal line, and press escape again here, make it fillet between these lines, and finish the sketch. Now I would like to sketch here the one more sketch here on this plane, and press here this one, and I will sketch for example this line and this line, and make it fill it here again, and finish the sketch. So I want to make the projection of these two lines. So in order to create the single guide curve for the function, so go here the curve, and open here this one, and here select the combined projection, and select this one, and as a second curve select this one, and select the vector, this one, sorry. So here the combined projection, this one and this one, and reverse the direction, this one and this one, and press OK. Sorry, delete this one. So now sorry, can control Z this one and keep this one. Now we will see how to obtain the tube directly with the tube function. In this case we need only the single guide curve, and we can select here the more in order to see what the tube function is here, or we can go using here the menu, and insert, and select here the sweep, and select here the tube. And if you open your system of the tube function, in the dialog box you will see here that this option. For the beginning you have to select the path for the creating the tube. In this case the path will be this one. And important things that if you have the path they consist of the several segments, they should be connected tangentially like this one, so there shouldn't be the intersection in the 90 degrees and so on. They should be the smooth connection, and mean the tangent connection. So in this case the path is this one, so I selected the path here. So it is consists by the three segments, one vertical line, one horizontal line, one is the arc. So and here you have to define it is the diameters of the tube, the cross section. So the cross sections is here is in this case is the 16 is the outer diameter, and 12 is the inner diameter. You can put any value for here, so to define the tube inner and outer diameter. And here in the settings you can make it multiple segments and simple segments. So let's for the beginning by default keep it single segments, and let's make it preview. So in this case you see the tube is created here directly with the hole inside. It means that it is the outer diameter is in this case is the 16, and inner diameter is the 12. So press OK. You can check it is the outer and the inner diameter by the measuring the diameter. In order to do this, go here to analysis and select here the measure the distance, and here select is diameter. You can for example define here. So you see that this outer diameter 16, or you can apply it, and the inner diameter you can sorry, just a moment, it's not measurable. So outer diameter is 16. So in this case you can define it is the diameter like this. So here the tube function is created. Double click here, so we can preview it again, and undo this preview again. Here you can change it is the value. For example, you can make its outer diameter is 20, and if you go here to show the result, you see the outer diameter becomes 20 millimeter. And undo this one, and this is created by the single segments. If you create this multiple segments, you see your the segments will be multiple, so first one, so second and third one, so by the 3 segments. So if you make it for the single segments, so it will be created with a single segment. So it is how to create this tube function. Also there is existed the boolean, the same way which we have seen in the sweep function. So you can make the boolean as a unite, subtract and intersection, the same method what we have done in the sweep along the guide. So it is the easy, so you can create such a tubes. There's a single methods, or you can create a tubes with the tube function like this, or you can create a tube with the sweep along the guide when we use the boolean operation. So this is the several options how to create the tubes in the NX. So in the next hour the live lessons we will see the how to create the swap function. Here other functions inside of the sweep. Here go here this insert. So inside of the sweep we just today see this sweep along the guide and the tube. In these 2 tabs we will mostly use the single guide curve, and for here we will use the single cross section. Here we will not use the cross section, we will directly create our tube. But with the more advanced such a complex shape, you can use here the sweep, the stylus sweep, the variational sweep, and we'll see the this kind of our the elements functions for our the next live lessons. Okay, subscribe to my channel to be the highlighted about the more important lectures on the NX, and be the subscribe for the to see the more the lectures on the other the topics. So thank you very much for your attendance, and thank you for your presence. So see you on the next lessons.